jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
Big shout out and salute to the hottest chat in the game. You already know WCS back on the boulevard once again. Yes, I'm going back to the muddy flats, man. BJJ, who number 19 for those of you BJJ fans. You know what I'm saying? You ask yourself, who? I want you to get turned on the who. Who is in the BJJ tournament? You know what I'm saying? Who? For those of you that don't pay attention to BJJ flow grappling, you know what I'm saying? Who are you going to pay attention to? There's plenty of fighters that's out here competing in these tournaments. I'm talking about some of the best grappling that you will ever be a part of. You know what I'm saying? So I want to first talk about, the WNO, who's number one, who pulled it out. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to talk about the main event and another match that involves a young Prodigy. It's just crazy because, in BJJ, man, you can be so young. You can be so young and still excel at a high level. Like, I'm not saying it's not something that goes on in boxing. All I'm saying is when it comes to BJJ, it's definitely a sport, academic, a seriousness that you have to understand that requires you to put in the time. BJJ is one of those situations where you have to have a sparring partner. It's one of those training methods that you have to have a training partner all the time. That's what makes it so taxing, rigorous, and everything else that you have to apply to your academics. This is why I love, BJJ along with mixed martial arts so much. Because BJJ in itself is just like weaving a web, man. You know what I'm saying? People be 2 and 3 steps ahead of you, 4 or 5. And you're talking about joint manipulations. You're talking about beyond wrestling. You have to know how to grapple, both from top and bottom position. It's just so many areas of the muddy flats that you have to be aware of. You have to go to school. School can be anywhere. You know what I'm saying? School can be in any position. You have to remediate over and over again how to get yourself up out of it. We're not talking about athletes who go to the gym and get all bulked up. This can be your average high schooler. This could be your average high schooler who's been competing in BJJ since they was, 7, 8 years old. And they look frail. They look like spaghetti. You know what I'm saying? You get them. Some of these BJJ practitioners like to dress up like nerds, but they're extremely, extremely dangerous. Like what's his name? Mike Musumeci. He looked like a total geek, but dude is dangerous as hell in BJJ. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in the sport itself, you just have to follow it enough to have some of your favorite fighters, just like boxing. Missions. You have them doing 50-50s where both of them could be going for a ankle, a leg submission, And if you're not even really astute to the game, you don't know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what they're doing, because if you get the average fighter with no ground game, and they throwing heavy ass punches, and that person go to the ground and snatch up an ankle and then use the rest of their body. BJJ consists of all the 9 limbs. You know what I'm saying? From the head, all the way down. It consists of all the 9 limbs, y'all. And it's a beautiful sport. You know what I'm saying? I want to first talk about these 2 women right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Um, Helena Crevar and Healy Dayan. They had their, who's number one fight. And if you're looking at the age, right, you're saying to yourself, 16 years old, she just looked like an average female that, is in high school right now. But she is one of the top-notch prodigies out here in the game under John Danaker, formerly known as the Death Squad. Like, everybody know who Danaker is, man. They changed their name to New Wave. They over there out of Texas. You know what I'm saying? And she's 16 years of age, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So she made her Who's Number One debut. And if y'all never watched Who's Number One, you really should start paying attention. I mean, I enjoy it to the fullest watching these Who Number One. I'm still watching it to this day. That's why I was pretty much, not on live like I would be, because I have to take time and, pay attention to this stuff. She went in against Healy Dayan, who was not ranked, but yet she had competed in other tournaments. Now, let me give you a breakdown of the separation and the different competing rooms of BJJ. You have gi and no gi. Obviously, this right here is no gi. All right. With gi, you're able to apply chokes based off the gi that you're wearing. The lapel is pretty much made for grips. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many grip submissions that you can apply as a BJJ competitor, jiu-jitsu competitor. And no gi, you have to rely on other aspects of your game, point of contacts on your opponents. You know what I'm saying? Feints, body movement, level changes, single doubles, or any type of way for you to get in on a body lock or get close to your opponent and lock in a neck submission. However you want to do it. It's a lot more difficult because you have nothing to grab on except someone's point of contacts on their body. Their head, the shoulder, wrist, waist, ankles, knees, anything, in order to get a submission. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Helena Crevar. She went in there and didn't waste any time, you know what I'm saying, in submitting her opponent with a leg lock. And she's obviously been at this for quite some time. She has mad confidence. And I remember growing up, most of the time in wrestling, wrestlers, they enjoyed being from top position, being top heavy, but they didn't do so well once they was on their back. Now a wrestler can basically train in wrestling and jiu-jitsu at the same time and apply his jiu-jitsu into his him or her competing in wrestling. It's just that versatile now. The sport has evolved. You know what I'm saying? So for Crevar, she started off from the bottom position, from the guard. She didn't care. You know what I'm saying? And they grappled for a short period of time until Crevar locked in that leg submission, and it was a wrap. But it was good to see, her style, kind of get used to who she is up under Danaker, her professor, and other names that's under New Wave. I mean, they have some heavy competitors over there, New Wave over there in Texas. New Wave is basically a portion of the John Daneker's Death Squad before they split. You know what I'm saying? So some members stayed with Daneker and the other ones went with I think if I'm correct, I think Rico Rodriguez, you know, started that school over there. I have to do a little bit more research, but I think it's him. And some of the other people like Craig Jones and then went over there. You know what I'm saying? To start their own, school. But yeah, it gets tense like that, man. Like you have some BJJ competitors out there that are top dogs in the game. Real talk. But let me get to the chat, man. First in the building, of course, man, that guy Eclipse 330 is in the building. What's good with it? Square, how you feeling? I'm good. I'm good. Yourself? I just decided to get this out the way while Derek Chisora and Gerald Washington is in the ring. Shit. You can't blame me. Carlos Rosado on deck. WCS salute. I'm not a jiu-jitsu watcher, but I had to come to the hottest chat in the game. No doubt. I got to talk about it. I don't talk about it enough. I watch it, but I don't talk about it enough. You know what I'm saying? I like that one little Italian American kid, Michael, something with the M, Musamichi. He is grappling BJJ champion for one, I think. Yes, he is in his weight class. Absolutely. Absolutely. My little cousin, the Muay Thai champ, he just finished a tournament in the Philippines. He 18. He loves it. But just like jiu-jitsu, bro, you need to be disciplined. Absolutely. You need to be disciplined in a lot of stuff, though. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to D-Ray on deck. Who are the current favorite Muay Thai fighters? I'm Carlos. I'm not on Muay Thai, bro. I'm not on Muay Thai, brother. I'm not on Muay Thai. I'm on BJJ today. I'm not jumping off topic this early. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the question, but I'm definitely on the muddy flats. Shout out to Samad. Peace and blessings, beloved. Salute WCS certified. Stamp the like button and support the grind. Much appreciated, Samad. Much appreciated. Salute to you, brother. Don Vaughn on deck in the building. Yes, sir. Shout out to the ones that was in Omaha. Real talk. I couldn't make it. I had things to take care with the fam. So, you know what I'm saying? But shout out and salute because Bud Crawford deserves that. You know what I'm saying? He deserves every bit of celebration that he's getting from his people in his hometown. He deserves it, man. He's a legend. Bud Crawford is a legend. Real talk. Real talk. No matter how you look at it, Bud Crawford's a legend. And we'll get to him after I get to my next slide. We'll get back to that. This was the match of all matches because it included Nicholas Meregali and Kyan Duarte. If you ever seen Kyan Duarte, at the ADCC trials, oh my goodness, this dude is crazy when it comes to BJJ. He's a ADC world champion and IBJJF champion. And Nicholas Meregali with a judoka background. He's a two-time gi gold world champion. I think he has like 3 or 4 wins at Who's Number One. And he's at New Wave BJJ, Austin, Texas. So if you're looking at the ages, they're pretty close, 29, 25, 6'2", 6'0". But if you're looking at the picture, though, you look at Duarte, his physique consists of a lot more muscle. You know what I'm saying? And then you look at Meregali and you're saying to yourself, he looks a little thinner. But no, they weighed in at 230. The crazy part that I love about BJJ, it doesn't have to do with how big you are, how bulky. I've seen big guys get submitted by guys who's their same weight that did not pack the same muscle mass or physique, right? Meregali is no joke. I mean, that's what made this match, the heavyweight match, a highlight because people was waiting for this. You know what I'm saying? Duarte, you need to go check out some of his highlights. He's the truth. And Meregali. Meregali is in his gi game. Oh my goodness. One of the best in the world in his gi game. You know what I'm saying? One of the best, both of these guys. And the match itself is a total of 15 minutes. Okay. So what I like about these BJJ tournaments is that if no one's pretty much earned a submission at a specific time, the judges would give who they favor up to that point. It can be the submission attempts. It can be anything that gave you the momentum. You know what I'm saying? How aggressive you are, your leg attacks. It all depends, man. Were you able to get any takedowns? It's so many variables that I'm still educating myself on. Real talk, I'm still educating myself. So, Meregali was ranked number 7, and Duarte was ranked number 2. And I'm not gonna lie, man, it was a great match. If you follow who's number 1, check it out. You know what I'm saying? Check out that match because you're looking at how big Duarte is. During the match, he feinted a lot. He was doing head and foot feints at the same time. You have to understand with BJJ, it is a level changing sport. You know what I'm saying? You can't attack the lower half, the lower extremities of your oppositions. Unlike boxing, it's just from the belt line up. That's your striking target. In BJJ, everything's a target. Everything. However, you can get in on your opponent, however, you can close distance, however, you can make contact. You know what I'm saying? You can do that. And I like the head and foot feints that Duarte was given early, but Meregali really wasn't going for all that. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a high level judoka athlete, and also a gi and no gi freaking top level elite grappler. And over time, 15 minutes, it seemed like Duarte seemed to get tired because I put it to you this way. It was a point in time where Duarte was able to get in on Meregali and get a takedown. It wasn't too much work done after that, but you can see how Meregali started to work his judo and get in on a single leg a lot. You know what I'm saying? He was getting in on a single leg often. And a lot of times Duarte was able to get out of it. But what led up to the submission? Hold up. Hold on. What led up to submission was, seemingly looking like Meregali was going in for a single, but he went underneath and gained back control with a body lock. Automatically, Duarte attempted to roll up out of it, and Meregali rolled right along with him. So at that time, it become a spool of thread. If for better words, it become a spool of thread. Spool of thread, you can knit. I mean, you can sew shit up, man. I'm telling you, how technical these guys are with grabbing ankles, wrist. How look at this submission though, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at how attentive they are to stay close to certain body parts to make sure their opponent isn't able to go certain places. And it didn't matter. Both of these guys are high level. Meregali was able to basically maintain position, right? And he would end up in side control, staying tight, keeping tight to Duarte, who was on bottom position. And then high level, I'm talking about high level, he was able to work the full mount. And then at that point in time, at this level, you just about done. You just about made a mistake that you can't recover from. I'm not saying everybody is that way, you know what I'm saying? But we're talking about 2 elite guys. Meregali had an arm in triangle choke from the side. It was super tight, and he forced Duarte to tap. Like, dude, the way he transitioned off this scramble and maintained the grip and contact of Duarte, who was high level himself, stayed close to work and transitioning to the full mount, because a rule in BJJ is position before submission. You have to get position first. So you'll see these guys go from position to position, and they take their time. You know what I'm saying? They take their time. Once they maintain position, they don't rush to the next. They need to make sure that they stay close. They have the right grip, pressure. I mean, it's a chess match. Like, I don't know what. It's a chess match, man. You know what I'm saying? You definitely have to have mat time and experience. And this is what I say about Clarissa Shields, who signed with PFL. She has to be able to go in there like a lot of other these women and be able to get grinded on by other women and feel that sense of powerlessness. You know what I'm saying? Feel like you powerless until she work on her BJJ game to feel comfortable with being in those dark spaces. Because BJJ is a sport where it can get real dark for you quick. Some of these guys can choke competitors out, and they're out. They're unconscious in a matter of seconds. With Shields, in order for her to even come close to being respected in a BJJ game, what I mean by that is a lot of these girls don't care what you were in boxing, because they can't go over to the boxing ring and compete to what she's been able to do. But yet, they're not going to allow her to come over to the mat and think just because what she did in boxing would translate over to mixed martial arts. It's a whole different minefield over there. And one thing we notice about Clarissa being 1-1, she has to work on her ground game. And these are individuals who some of them are mixed martial artists and some are competitive grapplers. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about the white belts to the blues to the purples, man, you got some white belts that's extremely dangerous, man. You got some lethal blue belts out there, a lethal brother, and Carissa's just gonna have to get herself in full mat mode and lock herself in for months and work on her BJJ game, work on getting back to her feet, work from less dominant positions. You know what I'm saying? So she can feel comfortable. Even if her adversary is in full mount, she need to find a school and work. You know what I'm saying? How to switch her hips, how to separate herself and at least get in half guard. Something. Take a bad position and turn into something that you can work with. It's applicable to working back to your feet or sweep or anything to that nature. I don't know if she really cares about doing that, but the only reason she popped up because she has signed a multi-fight deal with PFL, which is mixed martial arts, not just grappling. And she's gonna need to work on her ground game. But shout out to Nicholas Meregali, man. I like this guy's grappling style. Very smooth, very composed, methodical, deceptively strong based off the way he looked, because you don't have to be in the gym. Your mat, how you put it, your endurance on the mat is different than your endurance on the street. You know what I'm saying? In order for you to get your endurance up in grappling, you have to be on the mat, period. You can go out here and run miles all day long, but if you only do 5 or 10 minutes of mat time, you're going to get outworked, because you're talking about a whole different reservoir to source your strength from. You're going to have to put in that work. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I just wanted to come in here and talk about these two matches, even though they weren't the only ones. But I was kind of looking to see what this 16-year-old Prodigy would do on her first who's number one, you know what I'm saying, against that particular opponent. And the Dayan Duarte, since I seen him compete at the ADCC, I really want to see how you go up against Nicholas Meregali, who is proven with the gi on. He's proven, period. And he pulled off the upset because he was ranked number 7 and Duarte was ranked number 2. Salute to them guys. Real talk. My favorite fighters, I like Nicky Rodriguez. I kind of got acclimated to 10 Plan Jiu-Jitsu when I was in California. I knew some guys down there because I was going to be a mixed martial arts announcer. You have the Craig Joneses, the Boogeyman, Martinez. I like, man, it's so many to have just a favorite. I even covered Guy Ficker. I think Guy Ficker has came a long ways. I covered him before he was even out of high school. You know what I'm saying? So even though I haven't been able to cover him that much more since he's been elevating in BJJ and doing all these tournaments, I do appreciate him allowing me to cover him at the Naga tournaments that was down here in Atlanta. So it's good to see him out here competing and winning his championships, and growing as a BJJ. Him and his brother Cash. You know what I'm saying? Salute to him and his family. You know what I'm saying? He's with Athos that's down here. You look on my catalog, I did an interview with him at the Naga tournament and also went out to his school and interviewed him out there. But when I had the opportunity to interview these athletes on the rise, of course, they stick with me. So salute to them out of GA, him and his fam and all that. Like I said, Mike Musamichi, if that's the way you pronounce his name, I like his fighting style. Who else? I'm more like, the heavyweight game. I like Duarte's Kanye Duarte. It's different. It's hard to pick out of BJJ. It's hard. It's not like, you can pick out a favorite when you learning. You know what I'm saying? If I say, one fighter is my favorite and I'm still in the process of just continuing to learn. You see somebody else do some shit that you ain't seen before. You say, damn, I ain't never seen that. That's because, it's a constant open book to educate yourself. So I really can't tell you a list of favorite fighters, you know what I'm saying, that I like. But because with BJJ, they just don't go off like records, right? Like boxing. Oh, you got 6 losses, then they consider you a bum. Now in BJJ, you can lose several times in these tournaments. It's not like that. I've seen some of my favorite BJJ competitors, end up in the wrong side of a submission. You feel me? So I like Hassan Rita. You know what I'm saying? If you saw his submission over Ramirez, I believe his name was, that people didn't see that coming. You have Felipe Pena that's been in the game for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Of course, you got Gordon Ryan, who's the GOAT right now, man. And Gordon Ryan is like the Ryan Gordon. He's like the GOAT right now, man. I mean, this man can't be beat. If you paid him to, you know what I'm saying? Gordon Ryan, is multi-time ADC world champion. Dude cannot be beat, and he just breaks his opponents down, man. He's beat my guy Nicky Rod. Man, you go back to, I'm not sure what year it was. But dude, it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Even Rosamir Fajarez, when he was in the UFC, he refused to let go of submissions on time, man. Something's mentally wrong with this guy. But He's a BJJ legend. You know what I'm saying? They banned him from the UFC, of course, but he's been in these grappling tournaments. He's a big dude, man, and he's a legend over here. But he's not one of my favorite grapplers though. Andre Galvao is one of my favorite grapplers. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's more so in the teaching mode, he's not active competing no more. Like I said, Gordon Ryan is the one that's the GOAT right now. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude cannot be beat. He's one of the top elites, and that's just the way it is. And can't nobody really do anything about it. But the one of the bigger conversations of new athletes that's on the scene is decorated wrestler Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel, him and Gordon Ryan had a grappling match not too long ago. I don't know what the rules were. I don't know if it was submission only or just regular rules, but I see Robert Helenius is on his way. But Bo Nickel suplex Ryan, on his head, because Ryan, kept playing around, and Bo Nichols was kind of, hesitant to engage right away. Not that he couldn't engage, but this is a guy who's a wrestler's coming over to grappling, right? BJJ. And he suplexed him on his head, but after that, he was submitted. It's levels to this shit. Even though Ryan probably felt a little embarrassed being suplexed on his head, it's legal in BJJ if you can get in on your opponent. But shortly thereafter, he was submitted. You know what I'm saying? That's how crazy of an athlete Gordon Ryan is. Dude's on a whole nother level. That's the GOAT right now, real talk. And check out Gordon Ryan and John Jones, doing mat time. John Jones, dude is no joke to be so tall. Like him and Gordon Ryan was rolling. You know what I'm saying? They was rolling, and man, Gordon was so at ease. He's in there, two GOATs, right? One in mixed martial arts and one in BJJ, and they're rolling on the mat and they're doing some high level shit. I mean, it's crazy. And how Ryan was just getting out of John Jones's transitions was just crazy, man. I mean, y'all really have to pay attention to these guys. They high level as hell. High freaking level, man. But I don't, when it comes to Gordon Ryan, I don't highlight him as being one of my favorite because he's at the top of the game. Like, he makes it look so easy. It's like the pace will kind of woe you to sleep because he makes it look so easy. Because when he finally get a hold of his adversary, it's game over most of the time. As in Nicky Rod, fast freaking pace, man, wrestler. You know what I'm saying? It's each his own. It's all about how you fancy, what style you fancy the most when it comes to these guys. That's all. But yeah, man. Anthony Joshua is about to walk out. Yeah, but that's all I wanted to talk about when it came to who's number one. You know what I'm saying? I put the who up there because my audience really don't hear me talk about BJJ the way it should, or whatever. But let me talk about boxing right quick, right? Anthony Joshua's about to go out here and face Robert Helenius, so I get to that. Joshua is in the Under Armour red. I'm curious to know if this fight is even going to be competitive. We saw Robert Helenius go out extremely early in his fight with Deontay Wilder, and that's to expect. The Bronze Bomber, he has that gifted ammunition, that dynamite, you know what I'm saying? That explosiveness. You feel me? But one thing I did see out there was Derrick James jumping up and down like a little child when Anthony Joshua was walking up. He was jumping up and down, acting like a little kid, who's seen, their oldest son come out. You know what I'm saying? Like he birthed Joshua. You want to talk about fandom? That shit was fandom right there. Real talk. That shit was fandom. For real. I'm gonna close down this live and come back on with this particular fight right here. I don't want a boxing live to be bleeded over into a BJJ live. So I'll be back. Big salute to the chat. I'm out.